to another edition of From the Frontlines. I'm joined today by Emily Bauer. She is the Director of Community Relations for the Carmel Clay School District. Hey, Emily.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thanks for joining us. Bring us up to date. It's been a couple weeks since we heard anything out of Carmel Clay Schools. How are things going?
Things are going. We are still open. Not anything has changed from our learning programs right now. We are about to enter Thanksgiving break tomorrow, and that's a great milestone for us to hit. So we're pretty excited.
Yeah, who would have thought? I mean, back at the beginning of the school year, who would have thought we would have made it this long?
I know it. Not a lot of people did, but we are happy that we have been able to keep our kiddos in the classroom if they chose to return.
All right. So what are some of the biggest challenges you're facing this far into it now? I mean, I imagine they're a little different than they were at the beginning of the school year.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think that one of the biggest challenges is, like a lot of school districts, is staffing. As we have some teachers needing to be out for quarantine purposes or just waiting on tests. We're always very glad when people realize they might need to go get a test, but we do ask everyone not to return back until they've gotten the results. And so while we kind of have that in and out of different teachers and staffing, it's been a lot to juggle. So that's one of our biggest challenges. I would say dealing with, in my position, rumors. It's a very common thing as a parent myself. We've all had that, what have you heard? What have you heard? And just kind of helping mitigate that and letting people know we promise we are ready for a pivot whenever it needs to occur. But just making sure that people understand you can call us, you can call your school building. If there is a pivot, we will let you know. But I understand it's anxiety and it's stress and we all want answers. And unfortunately, sometimes there just isn't a great answer, but we do the best we can. And then I would just say overall pandemic fatigue. Again, I feel it. Everyone feels it. I want it to be over. We all just want to wake up tomorrow and find out we're done with this era. But just making sure that we all kind of stay the course and stay committed to those safety protocols, and we're washing our hands and wearing our mask and staying 6 feet apart when we can. And now really with the spikes in cases, limiting our social gatherings and just not giving in to kind of that cold weather and wanting to lean into the winter and just having those people inside of our homes more than we need to. So I would say all of us are getting quite done.
You mentioned the substitutes and staffing, and I think as a parent, it's one thing to think about the teachers being out. That I don't imagine that's the problem, but the length of the time that they have to be out, like 2-week stretch at a time. But you guys just came across and had a pretty big win in terms of substitutes. Tell us about that.
We had a huge win, and it's not just for Carmel Clay Schools, but I would say for Carmel in general. We have a force to be reckoned with our Carmel moms on social media and inside of our school system. And while we haven't had visitors and PTO inside the buildings and things like that, they are active and they put out a call for our substitutes or for substitutes needed. And within a week, we had about 35 applicants. As of today, we are near around 50. And just this morning, we had our second round of 20-something new substitutes getting onboarded and trained. These are not volunteers. These are legitimate substitutes who have been background checked and put through onboarding, and will be ready shortly to go into our classrooms and help fill in where some of those gaps are.
That is phenomenal.
It's insane. It's so great to see our community come together. And it's not just moms who answered the call. We have some dads, we have retirees. It's just, it's been amazing. And it's just been such a morale booster to see everyone come together.
So you mentioned it. You guys are out for Thanksgiving break starting tomorrow. Yep. Any final thoughts? Anything you want to remind folks of over this holiday weekend? Because you and I both know that when we have a holiday, we tend to see a spike in cases weeks later. So on that note, is there anything that you'd like to add?
Of course. We just we ask everyone to keep safe, to make good decisions, do what's right for your family, but we do ask, to try to limit those gatherings as much as you can. And then importantly, on the other side of it, really pay attention to how you feel. Get those temperatures checked. Check our 4 screener questions before you return to school. We can't monitor what everyone's doing on these breaks, but we really, really hope that on the other side of it, if it does mean that you need to stay home to stay safe, contact your school and we'll work with you and we'll get that figured out so then everyone can return safely to the classroom.
Great. Emily Bauer, Director of Community Relations at the Carmel Clay Public Schools. Thank you again and good luck.
Happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
You too.